on the podcast is just put them in a group chat and say we're doing this. So
we like the group chats.
Yeah, gets him ready. He doesn't have to think about it too much, and then don't tell him what we're talking about because then he likes to pull out all his 50,000 Excel sheets and he wants to go and do research, and his brain is fried before the show starts. So
it's pretty fried today too, but we'll rock.
Sweet. So, Miles, since I guess Gary's episode is out, people are loving it. Love that episode, just talking with Gary one-on-one. But Miles, we haven't had you on in a while, so I guess updates in terms of breeding since when was the last time we had you on?
I did it was technically your first video one with Kevin, but you ended up releasing other video ones before that. And Kevin and I talked about a bunch of nothing all at once. It was a fun
People
episode.
loved it.
Yeah, it was a fun episode.
It was a good episode, yeah. I think that one we just went off the walls and didn't have any notes for that one.
None. And I got to be honest, I haven't listened to yours yet, Gary. I meant to, but haven't had a chance yet.
We talked about a bunch of stuff that was nothing. We had fun. It was great.
Yeah, if I was going to update you, it's probably pretty quick. I don't recall what I last talked about as far as where I was at with the whole trying to downsize thing and things like that. I originally was not going to breed this season at all. I was like, I'm going to take a season off, work on selling everything that I want to get away from, and only keep what I have. And then the bug bit me, and I'm at 43 pairings. And good news and bad news is many of them didn't take because I did breed so late in the season. I missed a lot of ovulations. I'm just catching the tail end of some, so I don't have a ton in the incubator. I didn't count before this, but I'm probably at like 30, 40 clutches tops, if that.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot going on. I tried to chill it out this year. I'm really working on the downsize, which is very difficult for me. My addictive personality, as many know, is I need everything. So to just say, you know what, I'm going to keep these 3 projects has not been easy.
Right. And it's hard when you have a bunch of not just, crappy stuff. It's all really nice stuff. So.
And it doesn't help that he has friends at Agamon.
Yeah, true. Someone's got to be producing it. So for stuff, I guess, that you have going on this season, what do people expect from you, just from projects you have going and some stuff that you think that's going to be really cool this season?
Probably what I'm most excited for this season is going to be anything that pops out rainwater related. I've only hatched one so far, and it was my first rainwater of the year, and it has some eye issues. But it has the look that I was going for with the project, which is very, very bold. Very, very bold, purple that stays with the gecko. It's already pushing 50% carrot tail, and it's only about a month old.
Nice.
So it's kind of the three line bred things going on with them. I'm trying to increase bold, increase tangerine, and increase carrot tail, all while outcrossing throughout the process. Now, when you're outcrossing line bred traits, it gets a little more difficult, obviously. That's why I'm working. I have 4 tangerine rainwater lines in-house right now. This year will be the first that I hatch out geckos, hopefully, that are lineage related to all 4 lines. I did not add the original firewater line until this year, but I do have some pairings from that coming up. Be late this year, but I'm most excited about that. I do have some random Black Knight stuff that's going to be 50% het cipher. I really wanted to create a gecko that worked towards an entirely black gecko, including eyes. And since cipher doesn't wash out color like Eclipse can or create the white patches or pied patches, if you will, I thought it'd be pretty cool.
That would be
nice.
Cool. That would
especially
be
with
cool.
Full black eyes and not have any white.
It's a couple seasons out probably. My first season with it was last year, and I only produced 2 males. So I had to use one of those males back to the mom. So I'm producing geckos, all females this year, hopefully, that are 50% het cipher, and then they'll go back to dad again before I can start outcrossing it more.
Nice. Get some visuals going off the ground.
That's the hope, yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be
nice.
75% Black Knight line currently.
Right. No, that's super cool. I know some people are getting into the Cypher stuff, and not a lot of people have both Cypher and Black Knight in the first place to mix those two.
Yeah, it's really cool. I just went to the NARBC Stromberg show last weekend, and to see 2 Cyphers at the show was pretty cool. On a table for sale. I was like, all right. Now we're
Sweet.
talking.
I remember some of the first shows, I guess when I first moved up here and you had the Cypher, and people were like, what is that thing? Like, and we were just like explaining what Cypher is to people. Now we're at the point where it's getting into the market and it's getting sold is pretty awesome.
Yes, it's cool to start seeing some of what's happening with it. I mean, there's obviously a lot of us that were like, hey, this is going to be cool, and everyone's like, yeah, it's just an eye trait. And then I think people are starting to see some of the potential that's out there. There's some pretty nice tangy ones that I've seen a couple people post. And mine, I have no color in mine still. I've been more focused on separating the 2 genes than anything the last few years, so I haven't added a lot in. And to trust anything to not be possibly head eclipse right now is not happening.
Right. More space, more testing.
Although I will say this on here is I've actually had recent interest in my Cypher that I believe is visually eclipsed as well. It would appear that people, since it's discernible, it would appear that maybe people will go there. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that personally yet. I still don't care for the whole marble eye being involved a whole lot, but to each his own in those regards.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I feel like it's really cool, I think, when we're talking about these new projects. Even when we're talking about Albie Snow and Ghost stuff, like when you were still working with that and getting that off the ground and seeing that project now and having a handful of breeders now that have it in their collection and are working with it is super cool, where you're getting to... I remember the first episode that we did, we were like explaining that stuff, the difference between the line bred stuff, and people don't get it with the dominant, and now people are having it and working it into different lines and stuff like that, which is just super awesome to see how the progression of some of these lines are getting over the years.
Yep, it's been cool. This week I've had 2 different breeders that I don't communicate with a ton reach out, and they're like, hey, check this out, and it's Albie and Ghost related stuff. And
Nice.
as you know, obviously, I don't remember if I mentioned it, but I have moved on from the Ghost thing. It was one of the projects I decided was in my cut list, and did move that entirely on, other than the original Albie Snow Ghost that I hatched because it's cool and didn't really exist. So
Right.
I kept her for now.
Yeah. And I won't be getting rid of my Ghosts anytime soon, so...
Cool.
Big handful. Nice. Gary, what we're talking about the bell
pad.
patternless stuff. We talked about it last episode, and then any updates on that you want to share with people?
We're hatching out visual of Patty and Bell that are all 66% het of the other. And then we just hatched out a Super Snow that's Bell albino. If it spots out, it's gonna be Patty. So we're there. We're starting to see visuals, possible hets for sure. And it's all because of Miles. I got a head start because of Miles, because I have that pure Patty. I have a pure Patty line, and I wasn't going to start taking them into Bell until this year because I've tested them for 5 years. And so I got them Snows. I got Snow het, Bell het Patties. I got a super hypo tangerine carrot tail that is het Patty, Bell, and Eclipse, I believe. So yeah, we got that. That's my main project. That's what I'm going after. If I hit the Bell Patty, I got to hit 2 so I can give Miles one. Get him back into it.
I don't think we talked about this last episode. Odds-wise, what do you think? At the end of the day, if you were to hit a Bell Patty, what do you think the numbers are going to be?
Oh, geez. I honestly think I'm on the saying it's going to be hard to hit. I mean, because I've hashed out so many so far that has a chance, and it's either one or the other. And I've never had this when it's double recessive. I've always hit it this quick. It's like, oh yeah, I got one. I have not seen it. I talked to Matt before, and he says it's a numbers game. Then the other person that hatched it, that says he hatched it, didn't give me too much information on it. And then the UK is kind of like, I don't even know what to say about the UK people that said they hatched it. I had someone tell me that they had 40 animals that are Bell Patty, and I said, let me see a picture, and I got nothing. I'm like, okay, sweet. So if we hit it, I want to see if it's something that's not going to breed. Will it breed? Will it be like a mule? Will it pass on? Because we get 2 visuals, we should be able to start creating them more. And of course, Matt didn't do it, and he had a collection. It was large back then. So it's just one of them things I want to do. It has nothing to do with the money either. I just want to do it. That's it.
Right. What happens if you get 2 visuals and hatch out a normal?
Oh, if I get 2 visuals, I'm happy. Want to go to Miles, and then want to be with me, and then I might even just stop breeding. If I get a visual, we're good. But
no one else gets one.
I am a little upset. My pure patties I hatched out 2 the other day. Just my pure patty line. It was my male original to a het female, and I got 2 normals out of it. I was like, really? Oh. Seriously? I was like, I just wanted to post like, here's a pure patty female, but we'll have to wait till the next question now.
Yeah. Miles, you were going to say something?
I'm still not so sure it's possible. I know that there's those that, and I have, it's no shade thrown at anybody or anything like that. I know there's people that are fairly trustworthy that say they've done it. Maybe I shouldn't say I don't believe it's possible. I believe that it's exceedingly rare. And I've been up way too long today to get into using the right terminology, but I know you spoke with Ben Murill at one point in time, and I saw him speak at Tinley once, and he spoke on this perfectly and explained what's going on, and maybe you guys can use the correct terminology, but it has to do with the place on the locus. Is that the correct?
Yeah.
And where it's kind of like one can go and the other can't because they're too close or whatever.
Right.
And my belief is that if and when it does happen, it's yet another genetic anomaly, so to speak. It's almost like
an accident,
random, it's an incorrect code, so to speak. So I think that if and when it happens, it's going to be extremely rare, and it's really going to take having multiple visuals to be able to do it consistently. But I get off on that stuff. I know that the market these days and where the money's at, if you will, is line bred stuff, and this is couple combo recessives, which is not as exciting to a lot of people. And for me, the elusive nature of it is what's like, yeah, cool, let's do that. So, but I that's one of another thing that I've moved on from some for now. I'll probably go back to that. I'm going to use one of these really nice radars, I think, to start it again with I've got a golden gecko female that should be pure. I've never hatched anything else out of her. I think I might do that. She's been busy the last 2 seasons, but might give it a go again and get going at it. I, like Gary, I had visual bells that were 66 posset MP, and I had patternless that were 66% posset bell, and I paired those together multiple seasons in a row and produced all normals. So
that's what I'm afraid of. It's just what, like you, I just kind of want to do it. It's just neat.
If you're a person that's, producing animals for pets or wholesale, it's kind of nice it's a side project for fun to try to hit it, and you can, move the geckos. And you hatch nice bells and you hatch nice Murphy's patternless along the way.
Right. Yeah. Miles, was there ever a point in your collection when you didn't have every possible morph that was available in the market?
Yeah, I mean, I've never owned a few of them. I don't want to get into the controversial nature. I've never owned an Enigma. I think I had one Enigma once that snuck in a Super Snow. I've never owned Lemon Frost. I've never had, I don't know. I can't even think right now, but mainly it was the collector part of it. And that's what's been really difficult for me to move things. I actually just sold some geckos this weekend to a good friend of all of ours. And some of that was letting go of animals that have been on my shelf and not bred for 3 or 4 years in a row. And I don't think it's fair to the gecko. I don't think it's fair to the hobby to sort of hoard that. So I've been really trying to move that stuff on, and that's difficult. I'm very partial to things, and it's been hard.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm getting there.
I think also
slowly
a
but
lot
surely.
of people. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people also, it's like with some of the stuff you have is extremely rare in the hobby. Not a lot of people have it in their collections, and even with some of these things, you've seen it where people have had it in their collections and they've almost become lost number of times. So it's kind of scary also when you pass that on to that person. Obviously, I know a lot of people in the hobby these days are trustworthy, and we all have friends that are pretty well known that we could pass stuff on to. But there's always that like one-off chance that something could happen. So I feel like for me that would always be scary.
Yeah, I've had some guilt actually over some of that. Like last year, so 2021, I produced 0 Albie snows. I bred the females late. Again, last year I started late, and then this year I wasn't going to breed, and then by the time I did, none of the Albie snow pairings took. So I'm like feeling a little guilty, like, well, what if I lose one this year or two? I mean, I have 2 of the males that are, well, you guys have seen them in person, and anyone that has, they're white geckos. Yeah. They're white and black geckos, and they're many, many years old. Same with the females. I know that most of what else is out there has been outcrossed now, so there's some yellow and some color coming into some of those. Even some of the projects I've done where I've outcrossed, I've gotten into some pretty yellow geckos. But I have some guilt. I'm like, I got to get on this. So next year, that's part of the whole downsizing thing, is so I can focus better, kind of constrict my aperture, so to speak, and get a little more focused.
Right, yeah. It's always a struggle, though, getting focused.
And then I don't know how personal we get here outside of geckos, but I'm working on trying to go back to school, and I just have to. I don't have the bandwidth to be able to hang in there. I feel like I proved to myself I could do it and rock it and maybe jump off the deep end and do it more. And then my professional career is sort of taken off some too. So it's this delicate balancing act of which way do I go?
Right. Gary, did you hear me and Miles are going to move into a dorm together? And
I think that's what's going to happen.
Hey, my oldest son just moved to Madison last weekend.
Ooh.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It'd be nice to hook you guys up sometime. I know you guys have met, I think, maybe. But
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Only
he was at one of the Tinleys, but I don't think you were there now that I think about it. But yeah, they just moved up there.
Okay. Sweet.
His girlfriend just finished nursing school and started at UW.
Oh, you did? Yeah, they're building a new hospital on the east side too.
East side?
Do you know if it's going to be if it's the new facility or?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was building a ton of. Madison's always under construction, so.
Madison's awesome, man.
And there's bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
There's bicycles.
Bikers run Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprised people don't get ran over more often here. With all the bikers.
It's craziness.
It's a lot different than a lot of the other parts of Wisconsin. So it's like its own mad town.
It is? It's a mad town?
Right. Sweet. Well, I know also expos are another thing that's kind of how we all got together. And I know Miles and Gary were doing shows together, and then I showed up on the scene, and Miles is like, check out this weirdo over here, Gary, and then shows me to Dylan. And this other dude, Leo, starts coming around and just hangs out at tables and loves to talk geckos and all that stuff.
You know, people like Leo, you should get that guy on here sometime. He's an entertainer in general. But people like Leo are the reasons I love doing shows. And if I'm being completely transparent, I don't care to do shows a whole lot. I don't like the prep work. I don't have time for it. And shows, you don't typically sell a ton. It's more about the networking, et cetera, et cetera. But people like Leo that come up and talk to you and know what they're talking about man, that's my jam. I love that stuff.
Yeah, the first time I met Leo was at Sewerfest. And he bought that rainwater. He bought a rainwater off me. And then I guilted him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a funny story. I can tell this story. Funny story about Leo is I tried to talk him into buying a blood, and he was buying a house. And I said, be cool, just don't buy the house. Buy geckos. You'll make money to buy a house. I was doing it like the whole show. I was like, buy some blood off me.
Salesman Gary over here.
Bad influence. Gary is
into the hobby.
If you've ever been to a show, I don't know who all will listen to this, of course, but if you've never been to a show that's Gary's at, Gary's a different creature in a show. You can be next to Gary. You could have geckos that are 100 times better than Gary's on his table. And I'm not saying I did or anything like that. I don't mean it to sound that way. My point being that Gary could sell every single gecko on his table anyway. Right next to you. He's just that guy. He's a salesman at heart, man, and an honest salesman at that, which is sometimes hard to find.
You can have a table full of normals and still kill it.
Literally.
$100 a pop.
My best show was at Sewerfest. That was my
That's
best.
the most I've ever. I won't go into numbers, of course, but I know you shared it with me then. That's the most I've ever seen anyone take in at a leopard gecko only table.
Right.
It just kept happening, and where I hit that was a vendor came up to me, and I still don't know her name. She has stacked up 6 geckos and handed me money. And I just thought, okay.
That's crazy.
I don't know what it... I still don't know who she was. I've never seen her again. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Take some geckos. I love geckos.
That
Geckos
last
are fun.
Sewerfest I did pretty good at. So Sewerfest is the show to go to.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever talked about it on the podcast, but Gecko Row. Have you ever talked about that?
Gecko
On
Row.
here?
That was...
Talk about that
mentioned
in your podcast, Gary? I don't want to repeat anything. If
No,
you did,
we can repeat it. I don't care. Gecko Row
short
was
and
the
sweet.
best.
We were vending the Show Me show up in Janesville, Wisconsin, and we set up 3 tables? I guess technically 4 because Evan and I were sharing one that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was Gary, me and Evan, and then Dylan and Dab Exotics. And wow, I had the most fun I've ever had at a show. I think we all sold more than we're used to selling at that show specifically. Yep. And I was thinking about it when I was at Schaumburg. I'd like to do that again. I would like to do that, maybe. I don't know if Tinley would allow it as much because I know they try to separate vendors just a little bit. But you can request where you're at, especially requesting perimeter tables.
What we need to do is just one of us.
We did that at Tinley. It would be over.
Vibes, dude. Well, I know Brett's going to be up there, and he might give me some crap for I'm going to do this live. I was on him for you, Evan.
Thank you. I
was on him because he and I are extremely similar in regards to our anxiety and nervousness with doing these types of things. And I tell you guys now, don't sleep on Brett. Anybody, his geckos are nice.
Oh.
He's got the right methodology that he uses to do things overall, and yeah, it was cool hanging out with him last weekend briefly.
The pictures he puts up does no justice for his animals when you see him in person. Brett's is awesome because he's been sewer and he comes up to Green. I think he's come up to Green Bay before.
He was talking about it with Dylan there. I think it's Green Bay once he did.
Yeah.
He said Fond du Lac would be a little closer, but anyway, I don't want to misspeak for him, but I know I was like, dude, do the podcast. I actually told him we were going to be talking this week. I'm like, I'm doing it, and if I'm being honest, I don't always want to.
we pressure Miles into doing it.
Right. Yeah.
I never regret it.
He's on here.
I never regret it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm wiped out today. I'm tired, but maybe that's good because then my anxiety's gone too.
And that's why Miles doesn't want to do shows with me anymore because I'm going to send him home with geckos.
I can't take anymore.
Because I'm downsizing. Like I told you guys, I'm done with the wholesale game. I'm done with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Gary. Did you talk about that?
No, well, sort of.
No, we didn't actually. We talked about the new facility and moving, and that's actually a good way to talk about you downsizing.
Yeah, the reason I want to downsize is I can focus more, almost like Miles. I can focus more on the stuff I want to create instead of 500 raptors and 200 of this animal, and then putting them out in wholesale. It doesn't matter to me in wholesale. It's actually the reason I got into dubia roaches was for 2. We had the shortage on mealworms, and I wanted to I wasn't breeding mealworms. That ain't happening. But I was like, well, if I breed all these dubias and my friends need food, I can just give them food. And it could cover my wholesale part. Because people don't know, dubia roach is like printing money. It's like printing money. And then I can go down to, producing, 700, 800 geckos and just do something I like.
Still insane.
That's crazy to me.
I bred late. I started breeding in late April. That's when I started pairing, and I got like 800 eggs.
That's insane, dude.
And most of it's like, I'm not doing the wholesale stuff. Most of it's just kind of trying to build my holdbacks. I have my Bell Patty project. Then I have, of course, my Red Stripe project. I pair back up again. Let's see what else. My Radar, my Gem Snow stuff, and the white and yellow. That white and yellow boy's pure, dude. That white and yellow boy's pure.
I'm really hoping that I knew if I was going to send it to anyone that would find out for sure it would be you. So I'm glad you took him on.
I have him bred to Rainwater. I have him bred to Tremper in Eclipse and Bell in Eclipse and Patternless, and I have not hatched out anything but normals and white and yellows. Nothing. I
Need
mean,
him back now.
dude, I'm game. The thing is he is so chill. That gecko is just chill, and he'll eat. I can hold him. I'm like, okay, here's food for you, and he'll just open his mouth. I'll put it in there. He's just chill.
Cool.
He's got a
He
mansion.
absorbed a lot of good vibes here.
He's got a mansion here. He's got a 32 quart by himself.
Not gonna lie, all the geckos I get from Miles come to me angry. So
Really?
You guys saw that bite I got last week, man. That was brutal.
Yeah,
took a chunk out of you.
I'm almost healed up already, but I got nailed, man.
If you wouldn't have said that was a gecko bite, I would have thought like something else bit you. That was nasty.
The one chunk he took out was way deep, like in bled for like 24 hours.
Did he latch on?
It was pretty
recall.
quick, and it's the original cipher I ever hatched. And I know him as being a jerk. He's kind of very defensive. He's one that will.
Is he a jerk because he's a cipher, or
He's the first of his kind here in this this room. So, but he's never been real nice, and he was being cool that day. So I handled him a little bit more. Body language wasn't off, and as soon as I set him down in the tub, he turned around, tagged me, and was done and gone.
Let you know what's up.
Tagged me, gator rolled, and was out. And I'm like, man, that is a leopard gecko bite. And I had a guy working with me that day. I don't know if you guys see him comment on my stuff a lot. 999 reptiles or geckos.
Yeah.
He lives close to me. He's a really nice guy, man. But he was over here helping that day because I've been needing help here with my neck and all that jazz. But anywho, he was like, what happened?
He's bleeding all over.
I was, dude. It was bad. He said he learned some new curse words that day.
straight from the master?
I need some cipher. But I need Cypher Bell, but John teases me.
Be curious. Next year's going to be a big year, I think, for Cypher and where it's going. Still curious what all John's got coming out. Do you have him scheduled to be on here at all anytime, Evan?
Hopefully,
if you don't mind me
John's a busy
asking.
dude. John's a busy dude.
I was kind of asking because it seems like he isn't doing as much or isn't as public about stuff recently. So I'm hoping all is well. You know, be cool to hear from him more on his projects and stuff. I know he's very busy. He's got a family.
Right,
he's got young kids too, man. That's a whole different ball game too.
Right, exactly. New facility just got built up, and so
he's been starting to
doing it big.
Pictures.
You got a lot going on with geckos and stuff like that. So.
Cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just looking at projects and kind of how the hobby's moving. It's actually interesting in recent years. I feel like a lot of we were talking about this before. A lot of nice line bred stuff is coming through, and line bred combinations with morphs. What do you guys think? I guess the future of that is going with like the hobby. Where you've seen kind of the market in terms of morphs making in geckos and stuff like that.
It's not dying. I guarantee that it's not dying. I haven't put anything for sale, and I'm getting messages already about buying stuff because I'm different than Miles likes online and I like shows. So what happens if someone contacts me? I'm like, okay, ready to get a Facebook Live? Let's go through my racks. Which one do you like? Oh, you like that one? There you go. That's what I do. I don't have time to do anything else with the collection. That's something else I want to do. Is I want to be able to sell my stuff online. With what I do, I can't do it. I can't take pictures, and I think Miles, pictures.
That's the brutal part. The time for that. You get them all, and then you have to get all. For us that are very, very particular in our ads, it takes us a while to get all the info and lineage.
Yeah, and then you got to type it out. Everyone's like, "Oh, I upload like 50 things to Morph Market at one time." Like, how? I don't.
Which
do that.
I know better because I'm still going to get almost every message from Morph Market is going to be asking questions that it's all in the notes. If you just look.
That's the one thing I don't like about Morph Market is asking questions like, "Oh, is that a male?"
Have you ever thought about getting John on here? Is it Layman? How do you pronounce his last name?
Oh,
Morph Market. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's a good one.
Dylan was just telling me, and I'm probably going to misspeak greatly on this one. He was just telling me about some of the new features it has where you can track your lineage, show your parent animals, link
Seriously?
them. Yeah,
Really?
like basically everything that I've been using Excel for many moons, like you could almost keep track of things there. It's the he called it, what is that, NFS page? Please, anyone that's listening to this, whenever it comes out, I'm probably misspeaking.
That'd be cool because I do the same thing. Everything's in Excel. Everything.
Yeah, I'd be scared though to use a new platform, and if you're relying on that and something happens,
I'd have to have some
reason.
redundancy. I could never count on it totally. I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
My Excel.
But I'm so far behind. There's a stack of index cards next to me that's about 6 to 7 inches tall. None of them are logged in.
Oh, it's so bad. I write down on the tubs. I don't know if you guys do this. I just write down with a Sharpie on the tubs what it is, and I take a picture with my phone. And I'm like, I'll put it in Excel tonight. And I'll go like 30 animals, and then I'm like sitting there like, I gotta get caught up. And then I print out the nice
Yeah, I'm
tags.
at the point where I have parents, hatch date, and then unless it's getting sold or I'm using it to breed, then I'm not putting it in until it's time.
I keep track of if I incubate them as male or female too. So
Yeah,
I can tell my
actually
percent.
the same piece of tape that I write on the deli cup, I attach it right to the
Yep, that's what I do.
to the tub.
I put it on the back of my index cards.
Yeah, makes it easy. Right now, I guess these days I'm all about efficiency. So
We started somewhere
Yeah.
there, and I think we kind of diverted. Where's the market headed?
Oh,
or
yeah.
The hobby head. So
thank you.
yeah, no
Man,
problem
mouse
at
is
all.
a sharp one tonight.
Just baffling because I'm wiped out. With the line bred stuff, I think this is how you asked it, and
Right.
I'm curious because if you think about it, if you were to make a list, or we were to make a list together right now of all the line bred traits that are really out there, you got bold patterning, dark coloration, like melanistic or whatever people are referring to it as, and tangerine. Then you can add a few of the other stuff in there, like carrot tail. You guys think anything else I'm missing here?
Honestly, amarine, but that's a tangerine thing.
Yeah, so my point with that, though, is that there's not infinite things right now to be working on. So I think it'll shift like it has. So it used to be, and you guys know it's one of my favorites, I like solid orange things. Maybe that's not accurate. I like things that are all one way. I'm very uniform. I like symmetry. You're starting to see the shift in the market right now for patterning, and I think a lot of that has to do with clown getting kind of popular again and things like that. I've actually had a doozy of a time trying to sell some of my bells right now that are, almost 90% carrot tail, completely orange, and it's the market has moved, for more pattern, and it's cool. But I think moving forward, that's what we'll continue to see, is sort of shifts now back and forth until other things start popping up, because I don't think we're going to be seeing any wild colors pop out that we're not already seeing.
Yeah, I mean, there's amarine, black, yellow, and orange and black.
Yeah, you get a few tangerine lines that have that reddish look when they're young, which is cool, but I don't think it's a color that'll last. Kind of like the greenish colorations don't tend to last into adulthood very well. Some do, don't get me wrong. But
We were just talking about that, saying, I'll post some of my, pattern bloods when they get green. I'm like, we all know that's going to fade away.
That's really, I believe, I believe, I don't know how to explain this out loud maybe. I feel like leopard geckos have sort of 2 layers to their coloration. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
kind of like the undertone and then the surface.
And it seems like when the tangerine starts to overtone the lavender coloration is when you see that green, and then once the lavender dissipates like it normally would in most geckos, then your green coloration's gone and you're stuck with your tangerine. But
Right. Yeah. That's actually a good way to put it. I was talking today about talking to someone about ghosts and kind of explaining that that weird coloration, and then also kind of like the undertones. The best way I could describe it with because I had some bold striped ghosts popping out, and it's almost like paint dripping, and it fades as it's going down the pattern, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it's so hard,
it's hard to
describe
that.
It's you already know it's one of those things I'm glad to have moved on from, because I got tired of you can't explain it, you can't get good pictures of it. Now, those of you that have been in the Midwest and have seen them in person, you're like, wow, that's something different.
Yeah.
It is. I actually got a message today about or yesterday about helping ID some ghosts, and I'm like, I thought I was out of this.
Don't you love them?
Once you're in, you're never out.
Right.
I love those.
Yeah.
I refrained
They're
from
awesome.
commenting on what's my morph, or is this white and yellow? I hate that one. Is this white and yellow? I'm like, well, no.
I've publicly gotten some of those wrong when it comes to white and yellow before. White and yellow is a tricky beast, man. Now, if you get a very high expression one, you know it immediately.
Yep.
But then there's those low expression ones, or you have maybe you already have a bold pattern going on the head, the crown looking thing, and it's hard to tell.
I have two.
I'll try IDing ghost and white and yellow together.
I specifically never did that pairing because of that. If I look through our messages, I think I might have told you that would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
There's certain things you just don't want to mix.
I have a male, and the only reason why I know it is because he pops out white and yellows. But it'd be so hard to tell compared to regular. So
the original white and yellow stuff was so hypo and ugly. People don't know that. I mean, they think it like original.
Yeah, it was attached. Yeah, they were kind of attached back then, so to speak.
Right, to hypos. But
if you want to know if you have a white,
getting bold into it, Gary, you got some awesome bold white and yellow stuff that's been popping out.
But the one spaded, that one I posted in the chat, and it said I was teasing, said it was ghost. When she shed, it's starting to fade already. But I do have two more that's holding it. I don't expect it one generation, but that boy, that male that I got from Miles, he throws bangers. Like right away, he just throws bangers.
And I just want to give my predecessors credit there. I did not produce that gecko. That was produced, I believe, I'd have to check notes. I got it from Dylan Damath at Gecko Labs, but it was out of Jeff Scott's lineage. Yeah. The project he was working on with that. And
I'm going to have to tease him more.
He's a long time predecessor here, so props to him.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm in a group chat with him too.
Back to
this guy, I've always really
Gecko
enjoyed
Nation
him.
radio days.
Yeah, good sense of humor. I've really enjoyed interactions with him.
If you ever talk to Jeff, just tell him you got to put a full hat on, or call him Big.
Yeah. He likes his conspiracy stuff on posts.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I think it's really interesting, just like when we talk about these shifts and stuff like that. But I'm really interested, especially with, I get throw Red Diamond out there for an example, seeing that being flooded into the market. So I'm interested to see if people are going to stick to the projects that they've been working with, or they're known for, even, or have been at it for a couple seasons, and if they're going to go to that more popular stuff and just for the money, or even if they are interested into it and seeing what they do with that, or if kind of we're going to see this interesting divergence of people working with the stuff that they're working with, or if they're actually going to change. Purple heads have been insanely popular right now too, and just seeing where that's going to end up too, I think is going to be interesting.
And they seem to be, I don't work with any, just going off what is out there in the market, they seem to be a morph, or I better say line, that breeds pretty true. Like you're seeing some purple head crosses, first generation, that look like purple heads. That says a whole lot about the work John's put into them.
Right.
And I think you're going to get the money chasers that buy into purple head and buy into all these, and then the money's gone and they'll fade. But then you get the truists that will breed because we like it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no,
you're seeing a lot of that with the clown stuff right now. Anyone who's anybody throwing the clown word on something. I mean, I've got firebolt crosses right now that look like clowns, and if I was less than having integrity, maybe I'd post them as such, just to move them because they've been sitting forever. But
Evan's seen some of my blood stuff I got with pattern. He says, "Why you put clown?" Jokingly. I'm like, "No, it's just my wacky stuff."
Right. No, yeah, and it's crazy, and I feel like as I guess age or whatever in the hobby, you get to see that during those times, it's like kind of those moments to perfect those things that are undermined, and then once you get those to insane levels that you've seen, like Miles with your bell stuff, it's like crazy where they were before to where they are now. So just give people a couple seasons to work on some of these things, and
that's and I like to always give again props to predecessors. The bell stuff I have, it literally came from that one male radar that I have that is pretty well known at this point. That gecko has bred more females in this room than any other gecko, and he's strong, he's outcross, he's beautiful, and I didn't do the work on him. He came that way, and he actually came, and I hope Mr. Chad wouldn't be upset with me, but he came in basically a trade type of arrangement and working with another breeder on bolstering my collection. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, and it's just a true testament to some of the good people in the hobby, man, and loving what we do. But yeah, that's come a long way. I really, really want to be able to focus on one strain of albino. I can't. I can't. Tremper's moving on. Tremper's going to be out of this room almost entirely, other than a couple testers. That's been difficult for me to do because I had some nice sun glow stuff, and that was my original project that made me want to get into leopard geckos again, because that was the rage when I was kind of interested in them way, way back. And these darn bells that I was popping out last year are like, no, dude, you're stuck with bells too, buddy. So.
Yeah, I can let Trempers go. I can't let Bell go, and I can't let Rainwater go.
Yeah. Would you say, Gary, the last episode, bells are the adults and rainwaters are the black sheep?
Yep, and Trempers are like, eh. Everyone's got Trempers. Yeah. I can't take that. That was Matt telling me that. Matt was like, oh, Bell's a grown-up albino. And, I got into Bell because I kind of came up with JMG, and JMG was known for Bell. And what I seen in the back, and that's where I was taught that this adult doesn't look hot, but look what it produces. That's what it was. But I'm like, well, why can't we make the hotness be an adult too? But that's
something I'm big on right now. Yep.
I mean, it's a tough thing.
You're big on hotness right now, Miles?
Big on. I keep geckos around a little longer than most. I think I try not to sell them when they're. I shouldn't say I don't purposely try not to sell them, but I hold on to things a little longer, and I really want to produce geckos that age well. That's the biggest goal with the rainwater thing, is many of the tangerine lines of rainwaters do not age very well. You get a year and a half in or a breeding in, and they yellow out quite a bit. So I really want to see that change, and I'm not going to pull anything out, obviously, today, but I've got some things that are 4 or 5 years old of bells that are still tangy. So that's a goal. I know there's a couple other breeders that have been talking about that online recently, too. It'd be nice to have some adults that look cool, too.
That's the goal. Like we were talking, I think me and Miles were talking about the bloods. I mean, like, they rust out. They just do. They look amazing at 20 to 35 grams. They're hot, but adults just rust out. I'm going to have to add some more tangerine into my blood to do my project I want to do with clouded. But I don't know if it's going to go. I want that orange popping through that brownish. I want that bright orange, but blood's not doing it. So some things don't work.
Just came up in my Facebook memories today, Gary, that today's the day, I think in 2016, when I got the mother of the clouded animals that started that.
Yeah, I got the sister, right? I got Super Snow.
That would be daughter of the
daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some hot stuff.
So sibling to yours, yes.
I stopped posting so much, but I put snippets out there, and I'll put like, oh, it's cloudy. Because people are like, oh, you got Black Knight. I'm like, no, it's cloudy. That's what I say.
And they change so much, too, man. That's one of the weirdest things with those. When you get Max Snow and Eclipse together, and especially, how do I say this without going into a tangent? The patternless stripe eclipses that hatch out. You know what I'm saying? So where they're basically all one color at hatch. And then you add in snow for whatever reason. It's like, wow, this gecko's black. What's up with that? First time I hatched one, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then 6 weeks later, it's yellow. I'm like, wait, what happened?
The darkest clouded I have now are tangerine. They're from the blood stuff. And people don't know the black blood. The reason that the black blood would happen is because the original blood hypos were dark. And he just started breeding for the darkness. And charcoal did not come from blood. I can tell you that. But
that's
charcoal
beyond my memory.
Charcoal came from hypos, though. I've held the original charcoal stuff. Like, the video up on YouTube somewhere. I videotaped that. I'm the one that did that. It was like 12 to 13 years ago, and it looks. It's more brown, but it's just as dark as Black Knight's. And we
could tell it was that long ago because you said videotaped.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I remember Junior holding it, and then I think he had a blizzard. Or maybe a sun glow, and then Senior's like, put a sun glow next to it, and they were showing this charcoal off. And that was at, I think, a Tinley. I think that was at a Tinley. Almost positive it was a Tinley.
You guys going to Tinley?
The big one, yes.
I'm making it
mean,
happen in October.
I'm going to Tinley in October.
I'm supposed to vend. If I don't have enough animals, you guys gonna throw some on the table or what?
Sure, we can do that.
Make our own
have
gecko
stuff for
row.
you.
We'll make it. Maybe we should just tell Potter to give us like 5 tables for free. Hear that, Potter? Look at that. Or Ashley, who's really in charge there? No, I'm playing.
Opened up a can of worms. Yeah.
I love you both.
I was just at the show and saw when he went charging by to boot that guy out, the reoccurring thief.
Oh.
And yeah, he was fired up, boy. I love it though, man. He's passionate, man. Protect my show. Protect my show.
Right.
I
Get
will
out of
say,
my show.
Potter and Ashley make it fun, and Potter at the auction make it fun.
I haven't been to a Tinley auction yet, though.
Oh.
You got to get there. You got to do that.
Dude, it's a must.
That's on the bucket list.
Oh, it's a must. He'll pick on you if you start bidding and you stop bidding. He'll pick on you.
Get yourself,
Oh, no, I won't be bidding at Tinley.
get yourself a media badge and
Guarantee
you'll be in
you.
there, man.
Yeah,
Man.
it's gonna be fun. Everyone's doing it.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
one way or
that's
another.
another. I got to get ball python money for me to be up and bidding on stuff like that.
I don't have ball python money. I'm gonna bid like $10. I got Leopard
I
Gecko
don't think
money.
I've ever bid on anything. Not in the general auction. Maybe on the table.
Silent
the
auction.
Silent auction stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way to go if you want to support and
I've donated though.
feel like you won something. Right. Yeah. That's awesome. No, it's one thing that's really cool, I think, about you two guys, just in general, is kind of although you guys have different upbringings in geckos and stuff like that, you guys kind of have similar ways of thinking and kind of having your mentors, I guess, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know Gary, we talked about, Robbie Hamper,
Yep.
obviously JMG, and your influences on that. And I know Miles, you stuck really good to meeting good people as you got up. Obviously got a ton of awesome stuff from John and some great people that you got great lines from today. So can you guys just kind of speak on just how you guys use that information and who you guys bought from and who you guys stuck close to in the beginning to kind of form how you view leopard geckos now and how you view your collection and how you are building your collection, basically just based off those really early things that you guys got from the beginning that kind of shaped your way of integrity, breeding ethics, and just stuff like that.
That's a big question. All right, Gary, go for it.
I can go. How I choose animals is still how JMG does. If people don't know Junior looks at detail. I mean, I'm talking detail. He'll be like, oh, there's 3 spots on the second part of the neck, and that's what I'm looking for, and he'll breed for it. And that's how we did hyperexanthic and all these other things, and he would actually show me why he looked for it and how things stacked and the line bred stuff. Some of the stuff JMG had back then, they weren't even showing people. I was seeing it, I'm like, why don't we take this? He goes, don't worry about it. And then with, the Robbies and the Don Hampers and stuff like that, even Brian Barczyk back then, it was more of a passionate thing back then. It was like, hey, I like this animal. I don't care if anyone else doesn't like it. I like this animal. Carpet pythons. I mean, I was there when Brian Barczyk started breeding ball pythons and people actually were laughing at him. It's like, whoa, these get imported for $3. Why are you breeding them? So my upbringing, I was out at the Columbus show every month, and I was with Ashley and Potter. Ashley used to set up in the garage area with all his books. Mark and Kim Bell set up there because people don't know they used to be up in Michigan. Don Hamper, Robbie Hamper. Let's see who. I mean, Brian Barczyk. It had 2 tables. And I'm just this young punk 15, 16-year-old kid walking around talking to these people, and now they're all the biggest people there are in the reptile hobby. And they got there for a reason. Honesty and integrity. And then, of course, I met JMG, and they got me into geckos. and then Matt also helped me a little bit, When I met Matt in 2012, I thought he was a foreigner. I thought he was over in UK. I am not joking. I thought he was in the UK, and then me and Matt started talking about once a week, sometimes 3-4 times a week. He got me to be the purist. Because back then, JMG was trying to mix the albinos to see what would happen. But back in 2007, it was the thing to see what was happening. with these animals. So it wasn't like, hey, let's do this and sell them. They were testing out these animals. And then, Matt turned me into the purist I am today. I'd rather do a pure gecko than 5 genes in one.
Nice.
I can't follow that up. No, my history with the predecessors is much shorter, obviously. And I guess you could say how I sort of got into things is I have a very obsessive nature to me in anything I do. And it was, scouring websites. And that's probably where I first came across John's stuff at Gecko Boa. And I'm like, probably spoiled because I found all that information. And then I go looking for more of that kind of information. Like, oh, there's not a lot of this out there. And, I'm following a lot of groups. And I didn't interact much. It was more kind of the backseat observer. Lurker, if you will. And then I started to get connected and I got brave, if you will, and challenged my anxiety and just started messaging people that I looked up to or admired. And I can't speak high enough about how my friendship with Chad Ramsey really kicked off not only my acceptance by other breeders, it seemed like, but then also I had someone that I could talk nerdy to at 2 a.m, like, hey dude, I'm thinking about doing this pairing. What are your thoughts? Or hey, look what I hatched. What is this? So for me, it was really, I think it's very, very important to, and I keep using the word predecessor, but to listen to your predecessors in the hobby. There's, without getting too far into the weeds here, there are a great many folks that aren't utilizing history right now or utilizing what their predecessors have already discovered. And I think that's dangerous. I don't know. So anywho, I could get rambling on that. I don't have a history like Gary's with tons of folks.
That last part, I feel like we could have put that on CNN and put that on like a political ad.
Well, it's I don't understand the concept of not listening to someone that's already done things. Like I was, so how far do I want to go personally? So I'm a person that I'm a recovering addict, and I'm pretty open about that in my personal life. And I was taught as I was early on in that to get what I wanted to get in life, I had to do what other people did to get it. So I take that
successful people too.
Exactly. I take that philosophy into the geckos then, and I chase the people that are doing what I want to be doing and model what they're doing. Down to, I think we've talked about this before, like, how did you learn how to ship? Well, what I did is I ordered geckos from someone that I really trust in the hobby and has a good name. And I literally took pictures of their box as I'm taking it apart so I can learn how they did it. I don't know.
Smart.
If
you
learn from other people's mistakes, you're not going to make the mistakes.
Right. And then we all make mistakes, guys. I can make a long list of ones that I've made. And I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the podcast, I have a rainwater that has messed up eyes. That's almost for sure due to inadequate supplementation on my part. Most likely vitamin D is what kind of the consensus is right now. So we make mistakes and we learn.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I got some small eyes, and I think it was you I was talking about the vitamin D and.
Yep.
Yeah. I just wish, some people that don't like it, they say that we're not open, but I guarantee, I can even say that Miles, if someone came to him for genuine help, Miles would help. Evan, you would help. And
for sure.
We don't hide information. Some of us
I don't understand that.
Some of us are busy. We don't post on social media all day, but yeah, information is free.
No, it's true. Yeah, and especially when we have people that have been successful in the hobby for many years who have been doing things the right way. It's really interesting when you see people. I kind of understand when you're new and you're trying to understand why people do something a certain way, and you're asking these questions. And I feel like that's when you have those open conversations, like, "Hey, Miles, why aren't you breeding that one morph over there, or why haven't you had success with this kind of substrate and tubs and stuff like that?" And I'm totally up for having those conversations as long as they're being productive. Obviously, there's no slander and things like that. But I feel like when people, it's kind of just basic common sense and common courtesy when, you see people who have put a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears to this industry. It's kind of being undercut in certain ways, which kind of rubs me the wrong way these days.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I disengage.
That's what I do. See, Miles is my counselor. He helped me out.
Hey, yeah, it is. I
Miles
do
will
get paid
go on
to do that
Facebook
for a living and
sabbatical
all.
for 2 months.
Oh, I just love this hobby. I mean, I don't need to make money at it. I mean, we all got careers. We don't do this to make millions. I promise you that. I sell cell phones.
I sell hope.
Yeah, it's probably costing us a lot of time and to be doing a podcast, helping people out.
Yeah, I mean, I love this. I love this. Podcasting is fun. You're the best at it, Evan. You got the best podcast out there. I love it.
Not true.
It
at
is
all.
true.
It's the people that come on that make it well. That's all. That's why Miles is here. He just brings the numbers up every time he's on. So
You got to look at the numbers. Do I still have the highest one? I doubt it these days, but
Oh, it has to be.
I don't think
probably not
no.
anymore.
I
Matt's
think
probably
I
far
think
surpassed it.
Matt kind
Well,
of
man has like 10 episodes.
broke.
Are you like putting them all together? Or?
I'm not accepting
No.
responsibility for that,
Aggregate.
but I definitely strongly encouraged Evan to stick with it and get on him about getting him on, and then look what all's happened.
That's
man.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Honestly, Miles he's pushed me to do a lot of stuff that I didn't want to do, and he's getting
That's
me
what
to
friends do.
do some.
You might want to
some stuff
elaborate
with
that
the podcast.
stuff ended well, though. That sounds kind of bad there.
Right, true. Yeah.
I'm not into peer pressure, y'all.
Like, do
No,
this,
no.
Evan.
No, it's because of Miles. The Uncovering Sassobek series is up and
That was
going.
that.
It's because of Miles. I have crazy amount of geckos.
That Sassenbeck series
That one
was
might
really
be
good,
true.
though.
It was.
enjoyed it.
In the counselor and me and the clinician for what I do outside of here, it was really cool to see how therapeutic that seemed to be for Matt overall too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether what anyone's beliefs are on Matt or if they like him, don't like him, it's irrelevant to that comment. It was very cool to see the therapeutic nature of it for him.
Yeah. No, something that's really interesting actually with that series is I know a lot of non-gecko people were really into it too. People from other parts of the hobby, and a lot of crested gecko people, a lot of people were into plants too, or just really into the series in general.
Yeah, it's
So,
cool, man. You gotta find your next big series, man.
Right, I know. Who's the biggest guy out right now? Pop him on there.
We'll
into-
email some peoples.
That's a hard call.
We got to get someone who's been like off the map for a while too, like Matt, and
Do
get him on.
you know what? I'll call it out right now. Ron Tremper in his retirement.
That's actually I haven't talked to Ron in a while. He's been living it up in
Costa Rica.
Man. I was just telling my wife this week. That's on my my bucket list for locales that I'd like to get to.
I mean,
When I win
Ron-
that big fat $1 billion lottery next week, or this week.
Dude, if you win the $1 billion lottery and you don't go to Costa Rica, and you don't,
and don't take us with you.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
That's true.
like, hey, I'm your kid. Hey, what's up, Dad?
I'm not making any promises. I don't want to jinx myself.
Watch, we're just he's just gonna vanish. We're like, oh, he won the lottery.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Miles would be living his best life somewhere out in the woods, with a bunch of trees somewhere.
It's the ponytail.
Get you moving to California.
Redwood, son.
Yeah, see, you got me growing my hair out too. It's the Miles effect.
Good deal, man.
Yeah,
I tried to grow my hair out, just don't have.
it's what he does. It's because of the distance. We're closer in distance than so. Once you're closer to Miles, you get the hair growing.
Yeah. How close are you? This is kind of off the topic, and we'll try to steer back on. How close are you to Stevens Point, Gary?
About an hour.
Okay, I'm headed there Sunday.
Uh oh. Stephen Point.
Yes, sir.
Uh oh, he's gonna drop off some geckos.
Man, don't tempt me.
Oh, I was looking at my racks. I was like, oh well, I got enough space for these hatchlings. I gotta sell stuff. That's why I said I gotta sell stuff because I haven't sold nothing. I have sold one gecko this year. 1 to non-wholesale. Because wholesale, I've been just knocking that stuff out, but to non-wholesale, 1 gecko.
Wow.
Yep. So, yeah.
So, Evan, you asked us a lot of questions. Why don't we ask you what you got going, what you're working on, what you're excited about? Let's turn the mic. Let's turn the mic around.
See, this is why Miles doesn't come on.
We want to hear about the heat, man. Come on, what you got? I see that heat you post.
What do we have going on? Honestly, I haven't been posting too much. I'm looking at my racks right now to see what Albie stuff is coming through. A lot of bold I've been adding into those. So
Good call.
got some. So I got an extreme bold hiss cross bold stripe from Seth over at Huff's Herps. So that's getting added into some of the extreme bold Albie stuff. Some new lineage outcrossing to that. So we have some bold and ghost versions of that. Not white and yellow of those. Do have some white and yellow bolds. What else? Some Albie albino stuff. I haven't even talked about that yet or even shown pictures. So I'll just say that for now, and then we'll do some reveals later.
I've seen them.
Wait, I need to see those. Wait, did I see those?
You have.
Oh, I have seen those. Wait, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I remember now. Yes, I did. I was like, wait a second.
So
that makes me feel really,
It's
really
been a while.
happy that that's occurring because I didn't go there fully with them. So I'm very happy about
Yeah,
that.
so
But we'll stop there.
that's happening.
No spoilers.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Let's see. Some tangerines, high contrast stuff. I'm getting back into that. I kind of took a break from the high contrast trimper stuff, and high contrast no trimper stuff is actually looking really nice with some nice jungle patterns.
That'd be sweet.
So
wait.
That stuff I think is looking
High
nice.
contrast without trimper? Is that what you were saying?
No, so it's high contrast trimper
Okay,
snow.
gotcha, sir.
Yeah. So those are looking nice. It's the orange surprisingly isn't overpowering the snow, so you kind of get like the nice orange outlines and then the snow coming through with the pattern in the jungle.
Cool.
So
I love me jungle.
that's looking nice, and I think
I love jungle.
what else? Yeah, just variations of that stuff pretty much. Yeah. So not insane stuff going on, but
Hey, the simple
a lot of
awesome.
hets. Cypher stuff is cooking. Got some hets for those, but no visuals yet. So next season.
Dude.
Yeah, I feel like it's always next season.
You need a visual male. I got a couple sitting right here coming to visit you.
I keep hearing about these visual males he has sitting there. Man, what can I do with those?
Everything.
A bell cipher. I'm dumb. I don't even care about the money part. I just want the bell cipher just so I have it. And yeah.
The one that John produces, actually, it's crazy to see. I don't know if you guys saw the Bell versus the Trimper version. It's kind of crazy how those two look so different from each other.
I'd be curious to see how the rest. I know he's hatched more than in one Tremper cipher, and it sounds like they were similar. I'm definitely curious to see how those developed and if there is something to that.
Right.
So you got to remember, I say
And the rainwater version is still out there too.
right. I say this often is that there's a lot that we don't know that might be allelic type of interactions that might come up in leopard geckos and stuff like that in the future. And we don't see a lot of that like you see in BPs and ball pythons.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm kind of happy about that because that's.
So the rainwater.
It'd be cool if we got like one cool combination, but I think because even with I know we were kind of bouncing the idea when you first showed me the pictures of the Cypher and Eclipse stuff that was hatching out.
I like
Rainwater
the
is
Cypher.
interesting to me. Oops, sorry. Did you?
Oh, I like Cypher because it don't dull out stuff. That's why I like Cypher. It don't dull it out.
I still definitely want to see some pattern staying with the cipher longer. It seems like a lot of that hypo is out currently. But I guess the way I view that currently, and again, this is just I got quite a few hypotheses with them, is that their striping, if you will, or their, I guess we'll call it striping, is basically banding in a normal gecko. And in a normal gecko, the banding fades out, turns into speckles.
Right.
So in the cipher, you're seeing the same thing. That's kind of my hypothesis currently. So to get that more bold.
I totally agree.
So I've got those bold banded bumblebee stuff, or that's at least what I refer to it as these days. Something like that might bring in enough pattern that sticks behind or something. But again, I haven't done a lot with them because I've been so concerned with more so separating them. What I started saying a minute ago is about the rainwater thing. So I know obviously John's working on them or worked on it. Am I peeking? Looks like I was peeking there for a second. Sorry. I know that he was never able to hatch a rainwater marble eye when he was working on those. So I wonder if there's something going on, since marble eye and cypress seem to be so similar, at least have developed from the same group of animals, if that's something there, or if it just hasn't happened yet. Still would love to work towards a rainwater marble eye at some point, since that is currently something that hasn't occurred. So you could have your own worlds first, which would be cool.
The rainwater's the way to go. Everyone dumps rainwater, and it's such a beautiful animal.
Oh, dude. The rainwater is over here blowing my mind when I open the tubs. I love rainwater.
You and Leo.
If I had more space, I'd have some.
It's
always a space
cool,
thing.
drop out of school, buy a house, done to ready to ride. Let's do it.
In this market?
Right, ouch.
Well, we're 100 airs with these geckos, you know.
At least.
At the bare minimum. Yeah. I know something also we could touch on. I know feeders has been a big topic in Facebook groups and group chats and in everywhere in the reptile industry.
So I've obviously...
So how has your guys' experience been with feeders lately, and have you guys found some situations where you can supply other ways and all that good stuff?
So I've been pretty public about, crying about my feeder issues on Facebook, like I tend to. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They're like, dude, you're going through this too? What's going on? Obviously, I think both the three of us we're in a group chat where almost all of us in 1 week experienced huge die-offs, huge dead shipments. Then when I was at Schaumburg, I was talking to a few other breeders that they were like, yeah, that same week you went through all that. So did we. So it wasn't just us, and it was a lot of people experiencing that. And I'm a very empathetic person, or at least I try to be. I would imagine that was terrible for places like Rainbow and the bigger names that are shipping out everywhere. But long story short, I think it's no secret that I prefer superworms. I'm pretty adamant about that, and I've shared my reasons why before, I think, on here. And if not, long story short, they're easier to keep, and I find them to be just as nutritious. If anything, you have to watch that you don't feed too many. But finding supers has been next to consistent supers has been like next to impossible since COVID hit, it seems like. I just started being able to get some this year, and I'd get 4,000 of them, and they're dead within a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm like, what's going on here? So I tried a few other suppliers, and they're not dying from other suppliers. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe if it's the area of the country I'm ordering from to here, there could be a lot going on there. I'm not throwing shade or talking negatively about any other suppliers, but I found a supplier this last week. Gary was just asking. I've got probably about 3,000 supers sitting next to me that are doing phenomenal, and he's newer and he was excited. So I'm a little protective of the supplier, of course, because I don't want to see him oversell himself and get out too soon. But I'd say my biggest hurdle right now is I really like to order mealworms and superworms from the same place to save on shipping, of course. And I have not been able to find a consistent supplier right now that has both. If anyone knows anyone, holler. But I don't know about you guys. What's your feedback right now? How's it been going?
They limited me. I won't say it, but they limited me for the second time in 2 years. And it hurts. So I've been feeding roaches because I produce roaches, and I should have so many thousands available. So I cut it in half. I'm only selling half of what I produce. I was cut by 80%.
Yikes.
So when this is released, it might be different. But it was because of that large die-off of shipping. I just text my order. I'm just like, I need this many this week. And they were like, oh, yeah, it'll be out tomorrow, Gary. I'm like, cool. And later that night, I get the text, hey, I'm sorry, we got to limit you. I was like, wait, what? Again? And so when last time it happened, I think Wisconsin hated me because I was at every show, and I went up to every meal about everything. No one had mealworms for sale at any show I was at. I just bought it all. I didn't know what else to do. Now, I do have a friend, Andrew, is going to try to breed mealworms. I won't do it. There's no way. So, but I mean, it is difficult. I mean, if he does do it, I'll buy off of him. It's just, it sucks because we got these large collections, and yeah, it sucks. Superworms, I can't touch superworms. Like, I thought I could order some for Miles, and I was denied. I was like,
order some from Miles.
Yeah, order some from Miles. Get some supers from you. Yeah, I mean, it just sucks with these collections, and people worry about price. I mean, feeder prices going up for us, up for everybody.
Yeah, feeder. I haven't kept track of it, but I'd be really curious to see how far it's gone up.
Feeder and shipping prices.
Yeah, because roaches, when I first did, you guys seen my whole breakdown of roaches. My whole business plan was on 4 to 5 cents a roach on average. Now it's about 11 to 13 cents on average. And people, I'm selling out. I can't keep them in stock. So I keep back 25% of all my broods, are they called, because I don't want to burn out my feeder. I always want to have them. So yeah. Did we lose them? It's just us.
Welcome to the Strength and Leos podcast. You might remember us from such episodes such as.
Oh, he's back. Oh, we were stealing the show.
He's going to edit.
Dang, that was really weird. I don't know what I just did.
We were. He broke it. See, you were teasing Miles. It was karma.
Sheesh. College Wi-Fi.
Okay, we should be good. Keep going, Gary.
Yeah, but the feeder thing sucks. I mean, I know Rainbow. Jillian and I go back. And she does everything she can, and I know that she didn't do it, anything purposely. It was the heat, and when something hits them so hard like that, people are like, "Oh, they're big." Do you know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they lost in that 1 week? And we have friends, and I'm like, I understand, that you want them to ship it out the next day, but they got to have, they had to have the mealworms to do it. And then my limited order, I went, and I'm not joking, I had half my order at the FedEx, and I seen Brittany, Dylan's, other half, at FedEx, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm just looking at FedEx. Where's it at?" "Oh, we don't know." I was like, wait, you don't know? So it wasn't any of the breeders doing it. It was FedEx is not caring. I was so livid, and then when I got them, I mean, I had some die off, but it wasn't as bad as some other people. So I was blessed. But now I'm doing what I got to do, I guess. My stuff get roaches, and roaches don't feed as well in dishes because they flatten out. They do that little flat thing. Oh God! So I'm starting to breed red runners for that reason.
No, thank you.
They don't crawl. It's a rumor. They can't crawl up the sides. So they can be kept just like dubias, almost identical to dubias. So I'm keeping them the same as dubias. Now, hissers crawl up the sides. The babies, I have them in sealed because babies get out of the hissers. But I have, 7 species, 6 species?
I might be facing a divorce if that went down.
So you're saying if I brought over like 1,000 dubia roaches and we dumped it on her,
you don't want to mess with Missy?
Yeah, before you got it all the way done.
I love Missy.
All of us. Yeah.
At the same time. But yeah, that was it. I found the superworm supplier. Was 3-4 weeks ago, and I was really stoked. And then I went to order them again, and order went through, and then 2 days later I got the email that said, "Sorry, we can't send those out. We don't have them." I'm like, no, I just found a good supplier. So,
and I'm getting helpers. Are you getting any helpers, like your customer base? Like, I found someone that has some superworms, and it's like 100. I'm like, oh, no, that don't help
a little
me.
bit, and I appreciate it, but it's just not feasible. It's not helpful.
We need someone to supply like 500.
People in the wrong business. Like,
us.
Forget geckos and snakes. Like, we need more feeder people.
That's why I went dubia, but breeding mealworms is hard. It's work. Like dubias ain't nothing. Mealworms, and the allergies. I mean,
Yeah, that's the important part of it to really highlight for folks is I would love to do mealworms, but I refuse to do them in my home.
I'll never
I'm not
forget.
gonna
That's
put
like
myself
one
or
of the
my family at risk.
first things we
it.
kind of talked about. One of the big things you said on your podcast, leaving off, is mealworm allergies.
Yeah, and thankfully I've been able to dodge those. I've had a few phases where it seemed like I was cycling into that, and then I got a little more diligent about things and did better. I still, if superworms, for lack of a better word, juice on me, you know how they have that like defensive juice they do? If I get that anywhere around any of my mucous membranes, I will be definitely having an allergic reaction, but it's not severe or anything.
Yeah.
I hate frass. Oh,
I don't have to deal with it much the way I do things. I thankfully don't have to deal with it much. I don't know how you guys do your mealworms. Maybe it's worth mentioning just real briefly. Like mealworms, I get in, I gut load them, I feed off, and then they go in the fridge.
Yep.
I mean, there's not a chance for them to do a whole lot, and then feed them off another week or two, and then next shipment.
Yeah, that's how I do it. It's always I get frass because I got like 30,000 out at one time, and by the time I think they like poop like every minute.
Yeah,
I swear to God they do. And then frass from the dubias is not as bad. I don't care what anyone says; it's not as bad as mealworm frass.
They do say that people get dubia allergies, though. I definitely would encourage you to protect yourself.
Oh, I wear a
you
mask.
wreck yourself.
Yep, I wear a mask, and then I don't even eat. I wash up, and then I'll change my clothes. I feel like a dealer when I'm doing it because I'm weighing out in grams, and you have to get it. I'm like, oh, geez,
yeah,
You're a bug dealer.
I'm a bug dealer.
You know what's crazy with everything going on with feeders? I feel like right now, especially, I've been getting smaller sizes so I could grow up just in case anything happens. So I've been getting kind of a bigger size and smaller sizes too.
It's scary, man.
Grow up.
I mean, geckos can go a while without eating, but not the ones producing.
And hatchlings too.
The ones producing. Mm-mm. Yeah, and then the hatchlings.
Yeah, there's been a couple weeks, and I guess I'll say it publicly and maybe get reamed. I don't know, but there's been a couple weeks where it's like, okay, only the laying females and the babies get fed this week.
Yep.
You know, until my next shipment. Well, when you get 2 or 3 shipments back to back where everything's dead, you know, I guess I could accept responsibility that I wasn't prepared for that, I suppose, but I don't know who was prepared for that. Yeah.
Who would be? I mean, we kind of depend on these feeders. I mean,
I'm sure there's breeders out there right now smarter than I am, or that are preparing a little better, maybe getting some stuff going. I'd like to breed them. I do, but I don't have the time. I know I don't have the time, and I don't, again, want to put my family at risk of the allergens.
it's a lot of work too. Mealworms ain't like.
Oh yeah.
There's no way because you got to set them up where if you have the beetles with the eggs, they'll eat the eggs, they'll eat the larvae. So you got to have it where they fall through and.
It's a pain in the butt. That's not even talking about crickets either.
I figured it all out. Yeah, and you only get 250 mealworms
I didn't know that.
per female for a life cycle. Yeah, I got it down to how many they give you, everything.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's
not
what's really cool about
surprised by that
dubia is also they're sexually dimorphic too. So super easy to feed off extra males you have and
100%.
and control the ratios.
You can actually sex baby like nymphs. You can sex nymphs if you want to sit there and flip them over. There's breeders that will actually sex nymphs. If you order 1,000 nymphs, they'll sit there and sex them, so they're not giving out too many females. Now, I'm not even trying that. I could care less. And then when they get adults, I'll have males. I'll sell off the males for 50 cents and be done. Yeah, I'm not going.
Time is money.
Exactly, and 25. Holding back 25%. I should be fine. I should be fine. I need to produce like 2-3 million a month.
Yeah, you're crazy.
It's not as much as you guys think. I mean, I'm producing, 50,000 right now, and I have 16 tubs. So I just make it bigger tubs. They're only 300 females per tub. So that you just go to bigger tubs. You don't have to clean dubia like you do everything else. You actually the longer you let them go, the more they breed. The only time I open is to feed them. That's it. I feed them. And I don't even give water gel. Like people say, I feed them different types of vegetables and oranges and fruits and a dry chow. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't
We
get
gotta
fruit flies.
go up and eventually see how Gary does stuff, because you just seem to be the most efficient, productive human being on earth.
No, I learned.
Got
man.
more energy than I do.
I learned. If I don't do it, I won't be able to produce what I do. Like right now, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do Sewerfest. If I don't go spend the night, I have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get to the shop, because it's a 2.5 hour drive to get there by 7 and go load up all the animals. If I go the night before, it costs me $250 for a hotel, because that's what it costs there in Racine. Right now, I tried to reserve one. I should have reserved it like months ago, I guess. And I'm only taking like 30 geckos. So am I going to make that money? You know, am I going to make it with the roaches and stuff? So I don't know. I got to do some. Yeah, just come and fill up stuff. That's why I like Dylan's tables. Dylan has littler tables now. And I didn't have much, but it looked like I had a lot because he has like thinner tables. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, they're thinner. You can't put a step. Like our step displays can't fit on them.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah. I told him, I was like, doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Once we gotta eventually get back to, I guess Tinley hopefully will be the next show that hopefully everybody could get to and do we gotta do like some kind of gecko party or something.
I'm down. We have a room in the actual hotel, and I know last time 4 or 6 of us went back and kind of hung out a little bit. I'm always down. There used to be the good old gecko parties going down. Ben and Brenda and Fire and Ice rocking it.
They actually posted up some geckos.
I haven't seen geckos from them in a while.
Yeah, I mean they're nothing insane, but I mean they were posting up some geckos.
Yeah. Unknown to many, some of the really nice rainwater stuff I have originates from a white and yellow raining red stripe that I got from them. It's actually a white and yellow typhoon. It almost looked like a Diablo Blanco. It was almost completely pink and pink white.
Wow!
And man, did she produce some fire! I lost her last year.
That sucks.
That was it was one of those where it's not an egg bound thing. It's like something happens with the reproductive tract, and one day they're fine, one day they're gone. Yeah, I was pretty upset by that. But yeah, I got her lineage here. That's where my raining red stripe stuff comes from. And Ben supplied, I think, like a map of all the pairings that ever occurred under their umbrella there to where it came from, how and where.
That's so awesome.
I know there's.
It's the gecko, the gecko in you that all the gecko breeders. It's like family trees that go on forever.
I'm telling you,
we definitely should do dinner.
Yeah, we should party.
Good time.
I'm game. I'm gonna be there.
Gotta get some deep dish while we're down there.
We'll figure it out.
Honestly, I think I just like it because it actually fills me. Like I could eat a whole pizza by myself and. Yeah.
Yes.
That
you
deep
still
dish,
have the young metabolism. Must be nice.
That'll get you a nice cookie with ice cream on top. Man,
that's.
I know.
Evan's already there. He's already
I'm
there.
Ready.
He's already there.
We got any other topics, fellas? You guys think anything to touch on while we're hanging out? I know this was pretty kind of.
Yeah, I guess just one thing I want to ask you guys, and one thing I guess we could cap off the podcast with geckos and kind of how you guys see things right now as you guys are doing the gecko hobby. As it is, do you guys think, I guess in the next 5 years, you guys are going to be doing things the same way in terms of how you guys are thinking of things? And I know we're always trying to streamline things, but where do you guys think the next jump is individually for Impeccable Gecko, for OE, in terms of your guys' operations?
Mm-hmm. I'll start out. for me, that's probably not the answer most would want to hear. With what I'm trying to go back to graduate school, or to graduate school, I should say, and the likelihood of me being able to hang in there like I would like to, or is not going to happen. I keep getting asked, "I heard you're getting out. I heard you're getting out." I assure you, I'm not getting out. This is a hobby and a passion that I've had since I was young. But as far as what the next 5 years bring, I think it'll be more limited than it has been, but higher quality, hopefully, is kind of the goal. Sort of what everyone said I should have done from the get-go. Hey, specialize in, but my obsessive nature doesn't allow for that. So, yeah, that mine's kind of short and sweet. I don't see a whole lot. I've got the few select pet projects, so to speak, not pet-only projects, but
nice, sweet.
That I'll be
Gary,
working
you've already
on
conquered the whole world, so I'm trying to see what else you got up your sleeve.
Honestly, people that similar. I want to just have the zoo. I'll probably still produce geckos, but that's what I want. I want the zoo, and my dream is to have a zoo where people can come for free. I know it can be done. Rob Carmichael does it. So that's where I want to be, and I'll have a facility they can walk through. I don't want to do the shock and awe stuff. I want to do what it truly is. That's my dream, and that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to put everything I have in towards it. Every nickel that I make, that's extra is going towards that zoo.
You guys are making nickels?
Nickel. Yeah, I know. I stack them. Watch this, guys. It's a quarter.
That's a worthy dream, man. I know I talked in I think it was the last episode I did. I was kind of chasing the pet store / thing, and it's just not feasible for my
like
next phase
5,
that I'm currently chasing.
like the Marvel.
But that's still it's been a lot.
The MCU.
We're going to talk to him in 5 years. He's going to have a chain.
That works. You can keep it MCU Miles
Not
cinematic.
even reached my final form.
Yeah, a few phases. Sweet.
That's awesome.
No, and next they'll be adding letters after my name for
Like that.
profession, probably more.
MD.
Yeah. Well, I'll be open with you guys, and I'm a very public person. I'm working to become licensed therapist. I already do countless hours of personal work and counseling work, and I would like to get licensed because that allows me to work more individually than I do now.
Well, I know you're going to do it, so you're one of the most chill people I
All the
know,
time.
and give me great advice.
Got the wisdom,
Appreciate you,
dude.
honestly.
He is my personal counselor.
That's how to end
He's
it
my
off,
personal
Miles,
counselor.
with one of your
where can I
wisdom
send
quotes.
this
I think
bill?
that's how we pretty much end it off every podcast we do with you. And you say you don't have anything, and then you say something, and it's like a mic drop. It's a mic drop moment.
Dude. I never have anything. I hate getting put on
The floor is all yours. Nothing.
Boom.
People are gonna
I
come
got-
after you for this.
I got nothing, y'all.
I can't.
That's all
believe it.
right. You know, overall, and this is probably my last message, is really just steering clear of the negativity right now. There's a lot of it out there, and there's always going to be that out there. Even humoring and finding humor in the negativity, I hope I'm saying that as vaguely as possible, is still feeding into the negativity. And I don't know about y'all. I don't have the bandwidth for that in my life today, man. I have enough of my own personal internal demons that I fight and struggle with day to day to live a good life. I don't need all that excess.
That's how we're capping it off. See, he said he has nothing, and then drops that.
Good vibes
that
only.
gem. Oh, dude, you guys are both amazing,
There it is.
amazing people, amazing breeders. Glad to have you guys as friends and in the hobby. And yeah, another great episode, guys. Really appreciate you guys. Sweet. Talk to you
Kevin,
guys
you're
soon.
awesome. You're my
All right,
homie.
thanks for